So, can I have one more round of applause for the organizers? I don't know why this is going like this. Okay. So, as Alex said, this talk will be a little bit different. We are going to talk about politics, which is not my favorite topic, but again, living in Croatia, living in Serbia, we have to talk about politics because, yeah, you know the drill. So, a couple of years ago, we got the opportunity, and I'm not sure if you can hear me, so I'll stay here. So, a couple of years ago, we got the opportunity to change a couple of things in Croatia by working on a project for one of our cities, city of Rijeka. So, you are probably familiar with Rijeka. We were once the same nation, so I won't introduce you to that. But I just want to talk about a couple of things before I begin. So, I'm a designer. A lot of people think of me as a WordPress developer, but I'm not. I'm actually a designer, a user experience and user interface designer. And this on the picture is my brother, Lucian. We don't look alike, but we work together, and we worked together for the past 6 years, and by doing that, we try to change things. I'm also a WordPresser. I like the WordPress community, I love the WordPress community, I like to share these stories, like to promote WordPress, and the WordPress community is, I don't know, I think maybe one of the best communities in the world because we all share this passion, these things, we share our knowledge. And I was an activist for a long time. I'm always, I don't know, in a hurry trying to change the world, working with non-government organizations and so on. I don't ever work for political parties. So last elections in Croatia, one of the biggest political parties came to us and said, hey, do you want to work with us? But I said, hey, no way. So a lot of things changed 3.5 years ago, and you might wonder what happened then, and I became a father. So this is my son in the pictures. His name is Luka, and after he was born, I started thinking, how can I change things in Croatia? I was working with NGOs, I was working with public sector, I tried to do as much as I could. But when he was born, I was trying to see what and how will Croatia look in 18 years. So I just switched at that time. So you all know Croatia, some of you probably have been there. Have you been to Croatia before? Maybe can you raise your hand? So, yeah. And I see familiar faces that were at our last work in Croatia. So Croatia is a lot like Serbia. We have these beautiful countries, but we don't know what to do with it. So these are 3 pictures that I took in Croatia in the span of 3 days. So I was hiking first. That's the left picture. After that, I was driving with the bus to my hometown in Pula. And when I came to Pula, you have all this giant Roman arena, amphitheater. And so you have in Croatia and in Serbia a lot of things to do, but it seems like we can't find a way to do it properly, to do it right. So how is doing business in Croatia? And when I'm talking about Croatia, I could talk about Serbia, because doing business in Croatia and doing business in Serbia, I believe is pretty much the same. So you are probably familiar, we all have lower budgets, we have less educated clients, and nevertheless clients expect the same quality. So because of that, you can't get the same opportunities because we have lower budgets, so we can't afford to do everything that could be affordable by people who live in United Kingdom or France or Germany. Because travel is more expensive, software is more expensive. And the community is, in past years, was less professional. There were no professional design and developer conferences, so we have to travel, we want to travel. So because of all that, professionals in Croatia and in Serbia has to be resourceful and innovative, and we have to change our process, we have to adapt. So I'm going to give you one example. In our agency, we tried everything. and we usually deliver only 1 to 2 main templates in Photoshop. We don't design everything in Photoshop, you know? So people sometimes approach us and say, hey, I want to design, I don't know, 10 templates in Photoshop, but we don't do that anymore. We just design 1 to 2 main templates there. And after that, we prepare everything in HTML, and everything is and should be responsive because we are living in a mobile world today. A lot of people come to the websites with mobile phones, with tablets, so we have to adapt for that as well. And things we prepare like wireframes, we use only for our own process, so we don't show that to clients. And because of that, these wireframes aren't that detailed as they would be if we show them to the clients. So with that in mind, we have lower budgets, but nevertheless we can adapt to that. With that lower budgets, we can get the same quality. But that's not the only Croatian problem. So a couple of months ago and a couple of years ago, and pretty much all stays the same, people were asked what are the 4 main Croatian problems. And I see nodding your head, so I believe that this is the same as in Serbia. So number 1 is unemployment, because in Croatia around 20% of people are unemployed. The second one is economy. And we have been in recession for 8 years now. And all the politicians say, hey, we have a growth of 2% each quarter. That's not a growth because, hey, these are only numbers, because people can't afford that. And while I do this talk, this is a 30-minute talk. And in these 30 minutes, 3 people will leave Croatia for good. And this is probably the same in Serbia as well. And people are leaving the country because salaries are not that high, and we can't afford to have a family. We can't afford to provide for our families. So this is a really big problem. And we have a problem with corruption as well. And as I say always, there are some problems that you can fight, and there are some problems that you cannot fight. So you cannot change the unemployment. You can employ a few people, but you can't employ all the unemployed people in your country. And you cannot fight the economy because you are not a politician. You are not in the power to change that. And you cannot fight poverty with that as well. But you can fight corruption. And as a nation, we almost never protest. We had a really big protest a couple of days ago, and this was the biggest protest in 20 years. So I'm really proud to be there. I'm really proud of my people who were there to protest once in 20 years. And how to battle corruption? Well, you can battle corruption if you are lacking vision, and our politicians and your politicians probably lack this vision to change things. Maybe they want to change things, but they don't know how. So can we help them solve this as individuals? This was my question. And with lack of transparency, corruption evolves from that. So if you don't have transparent government on both national or local levels, you cannot fight corruption. So some work have been done in the past, but that's not nearly enough. And one of my favorite sayings is from Dalai Lama, who said, a lack of transparency results in distrust and a deep sense of insecurity. So I ask you, why is transparency important? Here are a few ideas. We want to know how is our money spent. We want to ask questions and get answers to those questions. And we want to be involved in the decision-making process. We can do that by going to referendums and so on. And above all that, we want to build a better democracy, not only for ourselves, but for our children as well. So to do that, we have to have a two-way communication. We have to understand how the government works and how the cities work to change these things. And to do that, we could use the web, because web is the most transparent media in the world. There is nothing more transparent than the web. So in 2014, GONG, which is a Croatian NGO that oversees the election process in Croatia for the past 20 years, which was really important in the 90s, where our democratic values were pretty low. They conducted a survey, and it was 3 surveys in 2009, 2011, and 2014. And the average score for 2014 is 5.9. So this is, well, below average, because 5.9 out of 10 is not that high. And 98% of local governments, local cities and counties have a website, but they don't have required information on their websites. And why is that? The national government had laws to say what has to be on the website, but they never managed to find a punishment if you don't have that on the website. So it's a paradoxical situation where you have websites, but you don't have information for your citizens. So it's, I don't know if I can say stupid, but it was stupid. So there was one city in all these three surveys, Rijeka, that was the most transparent one. And in the last survey in 2014, they got to 9.6 points out of 10, which is really high. And we said, let's change things with Rijeka. And I just want to show you what is Rijeka. Rijeka is the third largest city in Croatia. It is really the most multicultural and most transparent city in Croatia. And because of all that, Rijeka was selected as European Capital of Culture for 2020. This is just to prove that Rijeka local government has a vision. So I said before, politicians don't have vision, but it seems that one city in Croatia had the vision to do that. And they're doing such an amazing and important work. So why Rijeka wanted WordPress? First of all, WordPress is open source. They used it before on many websites, many small websites for their city, and they know how to use it. And they believed that's in the best public interest as well. So if we go back to 2003 year, I'm not sure if I said that correctly, but WordPress then revolutionized or democratized publishing. And that's because everyone could just download WordPress, go online, and publish anything they want, anything they had on their minds. And this was truly amazing, and this happens even today. And 10 years later, there is this city in Croatia that want to use WordPress as well. So I would argue that WordPress could also help democratize not only publishing, but could democratize the entire country. So WordPress helps transparency as well. So we were approached by Rijeka, and we could just design a website, but we decided at that point that we should build a platform for every other city in Croatia and every other country in Croatia or in neighboring countries could use. But we had a problem. We had no political ties. We never worked with governmental organizations. We were really non-political people. And at that time, I was very critical about our national government, who just spent a huge amount of money on their new website, and it was crap. So, yeah. So we were at this sort of political situation where we, as individuals, really criticized the national government, and the local government, Rijeka, was in the same party. It's in Social Democratic Party of Croatia. So it's in the same party. But nevertheless, Rijeka said, yeah, we want that to do it with you. So our approach was that we want to make a better city website, of course. We wanted to open source everything. This was one of our main goals in doing this with Rijeka. We didn't want just to create another website. We just wanted to use this opportunity that we got to change things. And we wanted to design it in the open. So we asked Rijeka, could we, I don't know, create a blog where we can document everything? And they said yes. And we wanted to make it accessible for everyone. So before we started this process, we asked citizens from Rijeka and from other cities how they see accessibility. Is that important to them? And around 25%, yeah, it's okay to have accessibility. And this was the only thing that we didn't listen to the citizens, because we really believe that if one person can't use the website, then we didn't do a really good job. And at the end, we wanted everything disclosed because we didn't want to get any ties about us. We didn't want to have people say, hey, they did a lousy job, they got a lot of money, I could do it cheaper, and so on. And I believe that you know what I'm talking about. And Rijeka said, yeah, we want that too. So we had a lot of questions that needed to be answered, like how to even start working without the public bid, because there is this threshold in Croatia where everything below 25,000 euros shouldn't go to public bid and everything above that should. And it was really good for us that our offer was below that threshold. But even that, Rijeka, as the most transparent city, has an even lower threshold on 10,000 euros. So we had this situation where they could ask for the quotes from other companies, other agencies, but they really wanted to work with us because we had this connection, we had these ideals which were the same as theirs. So we had the mayor who just said, yeah, we want to work with that, guys. I will sign that, and with that, we are starting to work with them. And one of the things that we were afraid of was how will the professional community react to all that? Because in Croatia, we all have these interconnections between the agencies, agency working with that city, agency working with that city, and so on. We have this sort of a problem because there is a lot of corruption, especially on lower levels. But the professional community was, wow, someone is doing that, and it was about time. And our budget for this project was around 25,000 euros. And this was, I don't know, in my opinion, we could have even more money if we just didn't work with the city of Rijeka, just use this time that we have used to build their website to work with our other clients that are mainly global clients now and not clients from Croatia. So our process at that point was in 4 different stages. So we had the analysis stage, analysis phase, then the design, HTML, and WordPress phase. So we tried to have something that we call agile design. You all know about agile development, I suppose. So we wanted something else that we call agile design. And to us, it means that we will always communicate and innovate, even in later stages. And we will talk with citizens and cities to resolve real problems, and everything is going to be open for change. So we did this analysis phase, and nevertheless, we wanted to change everything that we see as problematic in later stages as well. So in this analysis phase, stage, we analyzed current content, and current content for city of Rijeka was huge. Thousands and thousands of pages, I don't know how many thousands of news articles and so on. And to do that, I literally moved to Rijeka for 2 months. So I'm from Pula, living in Zagreb, and I'm moving to Rijeka to work on site with them. And we really analyzed hundreds of pages of content. And with that in mind, we created a better information architecture. We structured content into different groups: news, information, about city offices and local government, and what was the most important part is topics for the citizens. Because, as I said, Rijeka was the most transparent city, but being the most transparent just for them meant that they have all the information on the website. But if you were a normal, regular citizen, you couldn't find that information because it was buried somewhere deep within this web. So we analyzed everything and we wanted to structure that. And these topics for the citizens that was structured into sections like family, culture, sports, education, culture, and so on, that was written from scratch. And they used around 6 months to do that. Because our idea was to help people find their way through the content. We didn't want to just have the content there. We just wanted to guide people through this content, through this excitement, through this information that they have on the website. And we really focus on key content. So when I will show you in a couple of seconds the whole website, you will see that there is a lot of information overload there. A lot of news articles are on the main page because you all know our politicians want to get pictures of them. They want to say to people what they did this day. How many roads did they open and how many garbage cans they moved during the day. And we believed, and Rijeka was really passionate about it as well, to just remove this new section. Well, we had the new section as well, of course, because it's important to promote valuable ideas. But we didn't want to make a key focus on that. We just wanted to make room for content that interests average citizen. And as I said, topics for the citizens were rewritten from scratch because they didn't have all this content before. And at that time, we did some interviews with citizens and other cities. So this is a photo. I don't know how much you can see, but it's a photo from our workshop with other cities when we asked, especially smaller cities, how do you use the web? What are your problems? How can we help you? We created a lot of personas and tested this user flow. One of my favorite personas was a young parent that wants to inscribe his kid into kindergarten. So in Croatia, I'm not sure what's the situation in Serbia, but in Croatia, you have only 1 month in the whole year where you can inscribe your kid into kindergarten. And people are usually Googling that in this 3-month period, 1 month before and 1 month after, because you know that this is just before the summer. And we wanted to see how can we show that information to them, to the citizens when they come to the website. And we wanted to focus on that because we didn't design the website for the city of Rijeka, we did that for their citizens. This is the most important thing to remember. And we built wireframes and tested some more. So these are wireframes. It's not that special, it's not that detailed, but it gave us the vision of how will the final website look like. And these wireframes, we had this workshop with citizens and we showed them wireframes. We tried to ask them what were their problems with the current website, and they said a lot of valuable ideas to us as well. And we tried to show them how we imagine the new website to look and to work. We showed them wireframes and we said, hey, if you have this problem, you want to open a company in Rijeka, here is how will you go to this information. Is this something that is good with you? And we got some really valuable feedback for them. The next process was design, and we focused really on the key templates. It was around 10 templates. We usually design so much less templates than we did in this particular situation. But as I said, it was a huge website with thousands of pages, so we wanted to focus on these key templates. It was built only in one resolution, in desktop resolution, because this way we could lower expenses and we could work within this budget that we had. And nevertheless, even in this phase of the process, we were open to any changes. So we did wireframes, but when we saw that we had a possible improvement that we could make within this design phase, we did it. So here is the current website for the city of Rijeka. It's not that nice one. A lot of information everywhere. So these banners are particularly interesting. So city of Rijeka has a lot of departments within it, and these departments have sub-departments and so on. Around 300 people work for the city of Rijeka alone. And each person working there could just call the phone and say, hey, I want a banner on the homepage. This was really insane. And we did something new. And this is the new website. So one of the most important things on the new website is this top navigation. We wanted to have everything within 2 clicks. You know, everything what is really important to citizens has to be within 1 to 2 clicks, and we managed to do that with the top navigation. So the main navigation, the secondary navigation, and the language navigation, because Rijeka has a lot of Italian minority there. Their website is both on Croatian and on Italian, and some of the information are in English as well. And below that, we had this slider, and just on the dinner yesterday, I was asked what I think about the sliders. So I'm not for the sliders, but then there is some information that you want to show, which is really important, like when you have the day of the city or you have the carnival, which is Rijeka really famous for, you want to show that in this part. And below that we have a quick link section, which has the links to the most important information in the period of time. So this could be changed whether you are trying to inscribe your kid into kindergarten and so on. Below that we have important news section, which wasn't there before. So we ask them to see if they can have this important news like, I don't know, road is closed. This is the sort of information that you expect to have on the city website. And below that, we have news, and news is only this part. We removed all the summary of the news, and we had two types of news. One which is, I don't know, more important with the big picture, and that are not so important with just text and link. And also, these are news, but these are news that are more important for a longer period of time. So in their old CMS, which is a proprietary CMS, they had this sort of information like when they are selling the social apartments, social flats in Rijeka. These are really important information for the people of Rijeka. And they just change the date every time to get this information on the homepage. And after that, the banner section, all the banners are now standardized, which weren't before. And when you go to the bottom part, you have this sort of sitemap navigation in the footer. So you can have all the important links there as well. You scroll down to the bottom of the page, and after that you just click and go to the next page and so on. You are just finding your way really easy to the website. And I will show you another template. This is the template for topics for the citizens, which is summarized in several categories. This is just the first page, and when you click on it, you get this detailed information. And we had, I don't know, we were inspired sort of the gov.uk project. We wanted to have that sort of functionality and easiness to use like they have. So if you are, I don't know, searching for taxes information for the city of Rijeka, you can do that on this page. You can get all the important information as well as contents and news and so on. And on the other phase, the HTML phase, we said everything should be responsive. What we didn't do is that we didn't say these will be the breakpoints. We just designed everything. We didn't design mobile website in the Photoshop, so we just created the HTML, and after that we started from mobile first. So we designed mobile first. After that we just saw how many breakpoints. I think that we have now around 10 different breakpoints, depending on the type of content that we have. And again, everything was still open for change. And when we did the WordPress phase, and we are now just finishing everything, we are just uploading the content and so on, and I think that this project will be over in around a month. We wanted to use the standard WordPress administration because they used it before, they know how to use it. But we didn't want to use everything. We wanted to optimize. We wanted to make it easier for them. So we removed unnecessary elements, unnecessary links, unnecessary modules from the admin pages and so on. And we really used custom post types to interconnect all the content. So we used that to create an address book that is just connected with the pages. We used, I don't know, a lot of inline widget / modules to show the additional information, just to make everything as automatic as possible. And we focused on transparency information like the budget, the representatives, the contacts. So on the current websites, you didn't have these connections between content. And now you just enter the representative, you say, hey, here's an elected representative for this 4-year mandate, or this 4-year mandate, and you can see how he reacted, what are the parties that he changed, what are the questions and answers that he got. You just can't create a better opinion of any representative by just following him on the website. There were a lot of problems. We got less than what we usually get paid. We had a lot of unexpected setbacks, so we wanted to have this analysis phase finished within a week. We used 3 weeks, and we had more work than we expected. We didn't budget for that because we felt that this is a thing we should do, like writing blog posts, writing some strategic documents. So in Croatia, there is no content strategy guidelines for the governmental organization, and we did that. And no accessibility guidelines because no one seemed to care about people with disabilities, and we did that. And the benefits were really huge. One of the biggest benefits was that WordPress is now more recognized in Croatia than it was before. And it was really extraordinary to see that people could love WordPress as much as they are loving it now. And as everything will be open source, this code will be freely available to other cities. And citizens, for the first time, were involved and were listened, which is more important. And we did some added value for the community, citizens, and the government, like content strategy, accessibility guidelines, and blog. And one of the things that came into this project was this educational conference that we held. And why it was so important. We asked people from copywriting industry, from SEO industry, from social network experts, and accessibility experts to talk with employees of the city of Rijeka to show them why is content important, why is the SEO, and why is the accessibility important. We had this blind person that was just browsing the web, browsing their website, and they saw for the first time how is that their website inaccessible for this blind person. And one of the things that we got to do is first work in Croatia. Rijeka was our partner city there. They gave us a huge support to create this event. So my message to you, we really have beautiful countries. If you look around, we have beautiful countries. So I say let's fight nationalism and bigotry with transparency, because why not? Web is the most transparent medium there is, and you're aware probably of that. You watch television, you watch news portals. There is a lot of nationalism here in these 2 countries, 3 countries, Bosnia as well, Macedonia probably, Kosovo, and so on. A lot of nationalism here, and we can fight it with transparency, with being transparent, and with making a better country for ourselves. So I say that politicians should leave their comfort zones if they want to make a better future. They all say they want to make a better future for us, so we just have to give them the opportunity to do that. And as well, we should also leave our comfort zones if we want to make a change. So why are we doing this? Me, myself, my brother, and a friend of ours, we are only 3 people that are working on these projects. We just had this opportunity that we just wanted to seize this opportunity. And I think that if you could lead, and you just don't need to expect someone else to lead it for you. Because this sort of project is a great opportunity to build something that really matters. And it's something we as designers should do. If we think of ourselves as designers, and I'm not sure how many designers are in the audience, but we are trying to create a better world. We are trying to design things, physical things and emotional things, if you like. And we could do this. And people sometimes ask me why I'm doing this. So I think that I believe in a better tomorrow. Maybe I'm a stupid idiot, I don't know. But I really believe that we can have a better tomorrow for both Croatia and Serbia. Because one day, I have this kid that's 3.5 years old, and one day he will be grown up. And I just want to look back and say that I did the best that I could for him. So, thank you.